Hi, everybody. This is day 1525. 1525 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered. It's a capital murder case, and it's even worse than that. It's a code red, which is a military term for an ordered murder within the military. And we have about 2 weeks ago received confirmation. I mean, we have been reported that it was a code red because we have so much evidence with that. And then about 2 weeks ago, we have confirmation that it was a code red, an ordered murder, and today is huge because it's a it's another Howell moment, not just the first Howell moment. And if you don't know who Howell is, Agent Howell is the lead CID investigator in Quantico. Richard's case moved up to Quantico. Very, very violent crime cases get covered there in Quantico, and they're supposed to be the experts with forensics and investigation, and you would expect that with all the funding they get. They work for us. We entrust lots of money to them to do the right thing, to take care of our service members, to investigate crimes thoroughly so that they can be prosecuted properly, so that our soldiers can work in a safe environment, also in an environment with esprit de corps, where their leadership cannot abuse their power and use the tools that have been entrusted to them to retaliate and weaponize against their own service members, and in this case, soldier. And of course, Richard was in a very political area, very a hot spot in the United States. It's called El Paso, Texas. It's probably the hottest spot. It's right there in borderland with Mexico, right there. I guess the highway of criminal trafficking is right there. And a lot of people think Arizona or whatever. No, El Paso. El Paso is home of Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss is huge. I think landmass, maybe next to Fort Hood, but I think Fort Bliss beats it. Landmass. It is huge, and of course, at Fort Bliss, under our military leadership, um, they built the emergency intake center, which housed um, a lot of migrant children that were ripped from their homes and trafficked to the United States, a perilous stream to the United States, and were put in these camps, and it was really, really bad. It was really bad, and it's absolutely trafficking, and they're mostly dead now. They're mostly dead. So, for the sake of pedophilia, taxpayers have paid lots of money, lots of money. Um, it's and the cover up is huge. And our son, Richard Halliday, was whistleblowing on the criminal trafficking, and they retaliated against him severely, continuously, and through that, they made some mistakes. Um, and they got very angry. They got very, very angry because you see, nothing they were doing to him was working. I mean, if he was whistleblowing and they could have just with HRC on their side because there's so much um, power with the ability to station people in certain places and appoint people in certain places and certain positions in certain areas. And El Paso has a very coordinated HRC. They have their people appointed, and there is so much conflicts of interest because why is Nieto there? Why is Soto there? Why is uh, so many others, the Hearts and everybody right there? Because it's on purpose. It's on purpose. Um, and we have hard fact after hard fact of placing certain people in certain positions and for this criminal trafficking network stream to make certain people very wealthy, and but the children, the migrant children, they're mostly dead, and it's really, really, really criminal. I don't want to call it a tragedy. I want to call it totally demonic criminality. That's what I want to call it. And I think that the lethal injection, the death penalty, should be on the table for this. And those that have covered this up in today's, um, you know, like I've been saying for the last few nights, Richard's case is broken. Everything else now is politics. Um, it's solved. The case is solved. The prime suspect, of course, for the murder is Richard's platoon leader, Dallas Hart. And of course, you have Leilani Hart and CID agent from the Fort Bliss office, Tavita Nusa. And of course, you have Dallas Hart's father, um, James Courtney Hart. Now, Leilani Hart was giving sexual favors um, to her family member, Tavita Nusa, in the CID, and she was granted access to files in the CID office there. She openly admitted to tampering with Richard's file, and there is a witness to that. That witness was never interviewed um, by CID properly, never called in to be interviewed. And when the case file, Agent Howell came to El Paso to pick up Richard's file from Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, who, needs to be arrested, needs to be stripped of the uniform, and our uniform and our stars. Those don't belong to him. They're ours. We've entrusted that to him, and he has betrayed us, and he has committed treason, and he needs to face the penalties of treason. He really does. And he handed off Richard's file to CID agent Todd Howell. And of course, they gave us Jessica Veltri for a while, which, it's like, oh my gosh. These people are not qualified for their jobs. They're just not qualified. I guess it's who you know. I guess it's nepotism. I guess it's um, maybe your political affiliation. Maybe it's, all this talk with DEI hires and all this stuff. Um, we just need to be really careful because I think it's much more than that. And We have a lot of unqualified people in positions that, fine, go do your own business, whatever, you can take your chances. But when you are working for the Americans and getting paid by the American taxpayers, that's a little different, because we give them everything. We give them very high pay, and you just have to look at how they live to understand that they get very high pay with a lot of benefits, a lot of perks, and a lot of very good retirement. All their medical is taken care of. We do that all for them, and they have betrayed us. They have betrayed their position. They're not qualified for their position because of the way they betray their position, and and I believe it's a very, very, very serious. And so in Richard's case, we were made the investigators. Team Find Richard Halliday were made the investigators. We are the ones that have collected the evidence. We are the ones that have discovered who Nadal Baim was. We that said that Richard's remains were um, in Mexico, found in Mexico. We've also discovered, who Dallas Hart is, Leilani Hart, a convicted criminal, Leilani Hart. We've all so many discovered who Fit Fam El Paso, who's behind that. That was always a mystery. We discovered Jules Tugadan Chan. We discovered the HRC. We discovered the EPIC El Paso intelligence community. We discovered that our casualty affairs officer was up to no good, which connected, but he meant it for bad. He meant it to interfere with Richard's investigation and tamper with, just intimidate and put out a false narrative. But God meant it for good, because through his evil work and just by the grace of God, we connected Michael Garrett with he's in connection with Cheney and others there in El Paso and in the property investment businesses there that are connected with Richard's case. And this is about them taking on positions that we entrust to them and getting all this beautiful pay and all of these perks and the retirement and all of the benefits, and betraying us and using that power, using that position to profit off of, and denying or not looking after their service members, instead profiting off of the destruction that they're causing, and of course the criminal trafficking, which includes equipment, which includes weapons, which includes big weapons, which includes a lot of ammunition, If so much ammunition they have trafficked, that they've stolen from the American people. And then, of course, the damage to life, which is the child trafficking, the human trafficking, the child corn. And it's a sex cult. We know that with the officers of the doggy sex cult, the doggy mask sex cult. That's not me. That was just absolutely out there in the news, and I have all the screenshots and everything. Um, I hate to put anything like that up because, uh, you know, our esprit de corps is so fragile. Um, but I think with this election cycle, the Americans are absolutely finding esprit de corps, and it's not coming from our military. It's not coming from Congress, or it's not coming from a system that is um, working for them. It's because they love this country and they want to hold accountable those that are trying to destroy it. Um, Absolutely. And uh, one of those, one of those that are trying to destroy this country is Agent Howell. I absolutely putting us through hell. He is the lead CID agent. Quantico, living large, living very large. We've given him everything. He has no complaints. No complaints. He has all the perks, all, just like I said, living large and uh, medical care and perks and um, his retirement, right? His retirement, all taken care of by the American people, and he's trying to destroy this country. It's really criminal, absolutely criminal. And we have multiple times um, caught him in his Howell moments, multiple times. And, there's conflicts of interest. There is there's just so much misconduct. And now we have him again in a Howell moment. And it's like I said, this case is broken. And I don't even feel sorry for him because we're just done. We're just done giving anyone the benefit of the doubt at this point when there's so much evidence piled up against their proving their misconduct and their conflicts of interest. We're just done. And because Richard's case is broken, we absolutely, when we have the misconduct of Michael Garrett, when we have the misconduct of Clem Coward, when we have the misconduct of Lieutenant Colonel Roddick, when we have the misconduct of Sean Bernabe, when we have the misconduct of Lieutenant General Donna Martin, who, oh man, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. She really needs to um, face the end. She needs to face the end. And of course, so many more that have participated in the retaliation, in the murder, the code red murder of Richard, of a whistleblower. You have to understand this was a retaliation against a whistleblower. The murder, the code red ordered murder of a whistleblower. This is the mishandling of remains of a corpse. This is so criminal. Um, and and the intimidation and the threats, the cover up, the false narratives, the campaign to smear Richard, the campaign against the family. It is just insane. Absolutely treasonous. Absolutely. And um, I am so glad that with all of that terrible, terrible news, what our leadership and even the law enforcement, like CID agent Quantico CID agent, they're the big guys, right? Supposed to be the big guys. Um, they're their absolute criminal behavior, absolute criminal conduct. They shouldn't be living large. They should be in jail or they should face the death penalty, because they're out to destroy our country. And they destroyed Richard for whistleblowing, for trying to protect children from being mostly dead, and also for the fraud, the criminal trafficking with the Infort Bliss, with the weapons, with the ammunition, equipment, whatever. And then I will say this: we have confirmation that he knew things about the Walmart mass shooting. Of course he did. How could that military installation not talk like rumble, rumble, rumble after Glendon Oakley Jr. was found dead in his barracks room in April of 2020? Um, there was uh, no way you can tell me. And I know that's why these soldiers were shaking in their boots. And then with Richard being a code red murdered and that being spread all over because Lilani was spreading it all over, right? There's so many witnesses in all of this, but there's so much retaliation. And I was on, I can't really, I'll just say FE, an FE group that they get banned all the time and they're always targeted by these agents that, want to twist the narrative and all of that. And they were talking about the trafficking on the border. And that's not a subject they talk about. Um, but normally, but it is a subject now. And, you know, that was, that really was remarkable to me, because they want to get to the bottom of truth. And these 300, 300,000, 325,000 unaccompanied. That means they were ripped from their homes. Nobody would take care of them. Children are hard work because they're not disciplined, right? They're not disciplined. And you have to discipline them. And what do I mean by that? You have to teach them manners. You have to teach them how to dress. You have to teach them how to eat. You have to teach them fine and gross motor coordination, right? They tend to spill things. They tend to fall. They tend to break things. And when you have someone that does not love them, and they're being children, right? Even up to 17 years old, um, you can get around some very unkind people. And with the problems that we have, the services that these evil people want from these children, it's even worse. And that's why they end up mostly dead. And for Richard to be trying to protect them, and for his chain of command to retaliate against him and then to cover it up, right? Retaliate, order the murder, and cover it up is shows you where their loyalties are, shows you who they are serving foreign and domestic enemies. And you saw that today in the news as an example. Um, uh, maybe he's innocent. I don't know, but they're accusing the mayor of New York for taking bribes, money from Turkey, right? A foreign country. And so, that means he's serving a foreign country. And it's interesting why Bill Hicks, the district attorney there in El Paso, but he's not really, because he's a usurper. And why is he a usurper? Because he did not sign his anti-bribery statement before he took the oath of office, which is required by the Texas Constitution. And it's no wonder that he didn't sign that anti-bribery. It's just the bribery is just huge, huge. And there's just so much money to be made with this criminal trafficking network. Um, it brings the worst out in people. It really brings the worst out in people. And that's why it's destroying our country. So, getting back to Howell. So, Howell was brought in because of the failure and because, of absolutely catching the CID at Fort Bliss and criminal behavior when it comes to so many cases, but of course to Richard's case. And CID agent Tavita Nusa lost his badge. Um, I think Marlon Soto hurried up and retired. I think they hired him back on for it's like no crook left behind, right? No crook left behind. Come on, Michael Ruggiero. We'll give you a job on Fort Bliss, on taxpayers' expense. But he's absolute crook, right? And the same thing, um, in Marlon Soto's case, I believe, and also in Jerry Jakovitz's case. Um, it's just really disgusting when these people need to be in jail and we're hiring them because of HRC, right? So, and they are absolutely unqualified for any position that we pay them for. They need to go find their own way. They absolutely need to go find their own way. Um, so thank you, Anicia. Thank you so much. We need in our uniforms um, leadership that love this country, esprit de corps, that will honor their oath and their obligation to those that serve under their command. That's who we need. Not a group of individuals that are complicit in child sex trafficking. Okay? That's not who we need to pay, right? And and Howell is one of them. Absolutely. And why? Because Richard was reporting on criminal trafficking, and he's supposed to be investigating Richard's case. And we have the body cam footage from the January 2020, um, the frame job that happened to Richard, and a photograph was taken, and some other photograph was given to Interpol of Richard that is nowhere near the likeness. Nowhere near. The picture given to Interpol um, is tampered with. Absolutely, we have it confirmed. Um, Over and over again, confirmed that it's been tampered with. We know that it's been tampered with because it's our son. We know that that's something really wrong with that picture. And it was given to Interpol, and it interfered. And they didn't care because, what law are you going to break if you know that that individual is already murdered? But this is for a yellow notice, which is a missing notice. And they tamper with the picture so that the facial recognition uh, tests negative when you put it up against Richard's face. So it was absolutely no good for any kind of search of Richard, with the narrative, the false narrative that they were giving the public and to us. And, that's proof of that. And we wanted how Agent Howell to tell us about that picture, and he lied to us. And he lied to us. He said it's a picture from that night, like in the body cam um, phone, and it's like, no, no, unless you gave Richard a different T-shirt. Clearly the T-shirt is absolutely different. The haircut's absolutely different, and so many other things. So here it is, 4 years. The case is broken. He knows the case is broken, and he's still lying to us because it's about politics. It's about a cover up. It's about politics. Politics demands criminal trafficking. Um, they are very complicit, our government, with the criminal trafficking, and it's pretty sad. It's been going on for years, and we have um, turned in hundreds of letters. And here we have how Agent Howell, who we believe has conflicts of interest. We'll wait and see what his response is. But we believe he has conflicts of interest with Leilani Hart, Dallas Hart, and James Courtney Hart, because him and his wife, and I think he might have some conflicts of interest with David Park, because Agent Howell and his wife served at the same time in the same spot um, in Hawaii. And so there is, if there's this conflict of interest going on, which we believe because it's so small, right? Um, especially for that level, then, and there's more to it too, then he should have absolutely recused himself and given us someone that could be more neutral. Um, and now with the tampered picture, who really looks like the facial recognition tools point to that it's Dallas Hart. So here they're giving a picture that's supposed to be for Richard's notice, yellow notice, and facial recognition points to Dallas Hart. And not Richard, and not Richard. So something is very wrong, and Agent Howell is saying, um, it's not. It's like from the body cam night, right? No, no, I don't think so. So we've caught him in a Howell moment again. Of course, one of the first ones was when he was called out for our key witness in the case. Absolutely a witness that he, just acted dumb. And nobody can act dumb with this witness, okay? But he did. And that was a Howell moment. We're like, what? And of course, Richard's file was sanitized. But the other thing is he admitted to us today that he was on the imposters criminal group site that were intimidating us. And and we know that. We know that he was on there as a friend. It said as a friend to Leilani Hart, to all of those that were intimidating us, even threatening us. And here he was, the lead CID agent over Richard's investigation. So that was another Howell moment. There's been quite a few Howell moments, and not one of them is good. Not one of them. And so if you're wondering where is the accountability, because this case, there's so many flaws, and if you have the tools, you could have found that out, in all the interviews with all the different people. You could have found it all out very, very quickly and held everyone accountable, and we could have had our son's remains back and had peace. But no, these demons, they just want to ruin your life day in and day out, um, because they don't want to hold anyone accountable for all this criminal activity, and in this case, criminal sex trafficking, child criminal trafficking, um, and that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. Because we absolutely need to get the accountability, and the accountability is going to come through the politics. So please share as much as you can, and write letters as much as you can, because it surpasses Richard. It surpasses Richard in importance, and from us day in and day out doing this for 1,525 days, how important our son is to us, how we have just risked everything and been, intimidated and threatened. Um, Absolutely. So, yeah, but the whole point, the whole what is going on at the border is so big, y'all. So please write letters complaining. Um, there's so many tools today to help you write them, and just keep sharing all the time, because there is a darkness, a dark cloud, a dark group of individuals that have very dark intentions, um, evil intentions, I should say, an evil group with evil intentions, and we need to know, um, because they love to take advantage of you. Love to take advantage. You can still be charged with murder without the victim's body present. I pray that they get their just desserts. Absolutely. And that's what's going on right now. The case is broken, but it's all politics. It is all politics. And I'm going to tell you, the Walmart mass shooting, it targeted Trump. It targeted Trump and MAGA. It wanted to affect they killed people. They actually had a mass shooting to affect an election, to make El Pasoans crazy out of their minds that a young person would go into a Walmart and shoot people. And really it was multiple shooters doing that. And, black um, dressed security uh, unit or group with M4s in the mall, and shots being fired in the mall. So they didn't want to tell you the correct narrative, because the correct narrative is an assault against the normal person, and you would absolutely know it. So they all need to, this is absolutely treason. They all need to be held accountable, and this is all politics, and that's what we're fighting right now, is the politics. So people have said, oh, you can sue. Well, that's all in the works. We don't ever want to go into a court. We want everything to be done outside of the court, because the court is not trustworthy. And that's a problem too, isn't it? So we're absolutely working on all of that. And we thank you for all your support. But to have CID agent Howell betray the American people like this, that needs to be complained about. Not only having living very, very close in Hawaii with Leilani Hart and James Hart, um, and also being on that forum, that criminal group that was intimidating us, harassing us, and threatening us. Um, Also, the sanitized um, file of Richard not mentioning um, our prime witness in identifying Leilani Hart and her admission that she was tampering with Richard's file in the CID office, and that she was even controlling, she was bragging that she was controlling that CID office. And of course, um, having the conflicts of interest with that family, and also this photograph, the photograph that he's saying, oh, that's the booking picture, and it's not at all. And so does he not even know what he's talking about, right? So this is it's a tampered picture, which is a huge crime, a huge crime. So this has been a very good day because I don't think the politics can take too many days like this where we absolutely destroy the integrity and the validity, the well, let's just say Agent Howell is up to no good, and that has been shown today. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. Just um, please share, and let everyone know that this is political, that the weaponization against whistleblowers cannot be let to stand. We need a change in regime so that we can get our son's remains back. Right now, it's being blocked, and today we discovered that one of those blockers is Agent Todd Howell from the Quantico CID office. Thank you, everyone. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow. We're working on some other things behind the scenes that are really big, y'all. Um, so uh, just say your prayers, and thank you very much. Oh, the update with, well, I'll update you tomorrow about El Paso and what's going on there. That DC has absolutely descended on El Paso. So thank you so much. God bless you.